All right, so welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're gonna, try to figure out how to make a cool $1,000 a month on Amazon KDP.
Yeah.
We're using this guide from Mothwalla Media Publications, and it's supposed to lay out like a roadmap.
Yeah, and it's not like one of those get-rich-quick schemes. It's more about like building a sustainable income?
Right, so like you can wake up and the sales are just rolling in, all thanks to your words.
Exactly. But the first step, it all starts with finding like the right spot to dig for that gold. They call it finding your gold mine in this guide. But really, it's about niche selection.
Okay, so it's not just writing any book. It's about finding like a specific area, right? With hopefully lots of demand and not too much competition.
Right. It's like, think of it like opening a bakery. You wouldn't just bake every single thing you could possibly bake, right? You'd specialize, maybe in gluten-free vegan croissants or custom cakes.
Okay, now I'm hungry. But I get the analogy. So how do we do that with books? I know the guide suggests digging into those Amazon subcategories and, looking at the best sellers.
Yeah, it's about like understanding what readers are already searching for, but also what's trending. We can use tools like Google Trends or even just browse relevant hashtags.
Okay, I'm getting some ideas already.
Oh.
But the guide also says there's a difference between chasing a trend and writing about something you actually know and love. What do you think about that?
Yeah, that's important. Sometimes the best niche is the one you're already an expert in. Even if it seems kind of obscure, you might have knowledge or a passion that some readers are like really looking for.
Right, like maybe restoring vintage motorcycles or knowing everything about 19th century fashion.
Exactly. And that passion's going to come through in your writing, which makes your book stand out from the generic stuff.
I like that. It's like, write what you know. Okay, so let's say we found our gold mine. How do we make it, actually bring in some money?
Well, one gold nugget isn't going to make you rich, is it? The guide really emphasizes having multiple books. It calls it the multi-book strategy.
Yeah, building a catalog instead of just one book, right? That makes sense.
It's like investing in real estate. Multiple properties mean multiple sources of income,
Hmm.
right? Same with books. More books mean more chances to be discovered, make sales, and build a readership.
And I like what they say about cross-promotion. Each book kind of promotes the next one.
For sure. Your author page on Amazon shows all your books. And the algorithm tends to recommend your other books to readers who enjoyed one.
It's like your own little book ecosystem. Someone might find your book about, let's say, training a rescue dog. Then they see you also have a whole series on dog agility. Boom, new reader.
Exactly. It strengthens your author brand too, which we'll talk more about later. But first, we got to talk about something super important: quality content.
Right, it's not just about writing a ton of books. They have to be good, too. No errors, good covers, all that.
Right. It's like building furniture. You wouldn't use cheap materials, right? Your book is a product. It has to be well made.
So true. And this guide stresses professional editing. It's an investment, not just an expense.
Totally. A good editor can catch typos, yeah, but also help you clarify your message, make it flow better, make sure it really speaks to your readers.
Yeah, it's like having someone else look at it with fresh eyes. They can catch the stuff we miss,
And don't forget about the cover. It's the first thing people see. It's got to be good.
right? A good cover shows the genre, the tone of the book. It sets the stage. Think about it. If you're browsing on Amazon and you see a boring cover next to a really awesome one, which you're going to click?
Definitely the awesome one. A good cover makes people trust the book more, shows it's professional. And speaking of attention grabbing, we should talk about keywords. This guide calls them the secret language to getting discovered on Amazon.
Ooh, I like that. Sounds kind of mysterious. But really, it's just about understanding how Amazon's algorithm works, right?
Yeah, pretty much. When someone searches on Amazon, the algorithm has to sort through like millions of books. Keywords are how your book gets to the top.
Okay, so it's not just about like using certain words a lot in our book description. There's an actual strategy.
Oh, yeah, definitely. One tip from the guide is to pay attention when you're typing in Amazon's search bar, like how it gives you suggestions. Those suggestions are based on what people actually search for.
Oh, so it's like peeking into what readers are looking for.
Yeah.
Sneaky.
Yeah.
Any other ways to find those keywords?
Yeah, there are some tools like Publisher Rocket or Sonar. They can analyze how competitive different keywords are, so you can find the ones that lots of people search for, but not too many books use.
Okay, cool. So once we have our keywords, how do we actually use them? Like to get our books seen?
Well, you have to put them in your Title, subtitle, description, even some behind-the-scenes stuff Amazon uses. But you gotta be careful. Like, you don't want to just cram them in everywhere. It'll sound weird, and it can hurt your ranking.
Right. It has to sound natural. We're writing for people, not
Yeah.
just robots.
Right. Exactly. And speaking of reaching people, this guide talks about email marketing. What do you think about that?
I think it's great. Like, instead of just hoping Amazon's algorithm does its thing, we can, connect directly with readers.
Yeah.
Have you ever tried building an email list? Let us know in the comments, by the way.
It's like having a special club for your biggest fans. You can tell them about new releases, give them bonus content, even get their feedback.
I like that. The guide says to create a lead magnet. So something free we give away in exchange for, their email address, like a bonus chapter or a character interview, something like that.
Exactly. It's how you get people to join that inner circle, keep them connected. And once you have that list, you can turn casual readers into, diehard fans.
So it's building a community, right,
Oh, right.
around your books. Now, let's talk about something that can be a bit scary. Amazon ads. I know they can be helpful, but I've heard, like, horror stories about authors spending a ton of money and getting nothing.
Yeah, you got to be smart about it. This guide says to, start small. Experiment with different ways of targeting your ads.
Okay, so it's not just like throwing money at it and hoping for the best.
Definitely not. You can target specific keywords or even target people who buy books similar to yours.
So we can get our books in front of, the people who are most likely to want to read them. What about tracking, like how well the ads are doing?
That's where ROI comes in, return on investment. Amazon ads gives you all this data so you can see which keywords are working, what's getting you clicks and sales.
It's like a dashboard for your ads. You can tweak things as you go.
Yeah. And the more data you have, the more you can, scale up your ads.
All right, now let's talk about Kindle Unlimited, or KU, as everyone calls it. It's gotten pretty popular, right?
It's a subscription service.
Mhm.
People pay a monthly fee, and then they can read as many books as they want. And authors can choose to make their books part of KU.
So it's a way to, like, reach a ton of readers.
Yeah.
But is there a downside?
Well, one thing to think about is exclusivity. When you put your book in KU, it can't be sold anywhere else, only on Amazon. What do you think about that, by the way? It's a big decision.
Yeah, it's a trade-off. Do you go for that huge audience on Amazon, or do you, try to sell everywhere?
Right. It depends on your goals. But if you do decide to go all in on KU, there are some good things about it.
Like what?
Well, you get paid based on how many pages people read. So, like, the more they read, the more you earn. It can be pretty consistent.
Oh, that's cool. It's like getting paid based on how much people are enjoying your book.
Yeah, and KU books also tend to get promoted more by Amazon, so it's good for visibility.
So it's a win-win for readers and authors.
It can be, yeah.
Sure.
But like with anything, you gotta, understand how it works before you jump in.
Good point. Okay, now let's switch gears and talk about audiobooks. They're like exploding in popularity, so.
Definitely. People love to listen while they're commuting, working out, all sorts of things.
It's like having someone read to you. And it's another way for authors to make money. This guide mentions ACX, Audiobook Creation Exchange. It's for, turning your ebook into an audiobook.
Yeah, ACX is great. They connect you with narrators and producers, so you don't have to, do everything yourself.
Oh, cool. So you don't need like a fancy recording studio or anything.
Nope. ACX gives you everything you need. You can even listen to samples of different narrators to find the right voice for your book.
Like casting your book.
Uh,
Awesome. And what happens once you find a narrator?
You can either split the profits with them or you can pay them up front.
Okay, so there are options.
Mhm.
And then once the audiobook's made, where do people buy it?
Audible, iTunes, places like that. And you can put it on your Amazon book listing too. So, people who buy the ebook can see the audiobook.
It's all connected.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's about, giving readers options, meeting them where they are. Oh, and one more thing before we wrap this section up. Author branding. What do you think about that, especially for self-published authors?
I think it's super important. It's like how you stand out from all the other books out there.
Yeah, it's the difference between a generic brand and a name brand, People trust the names they recognize.
Right. And for authors, it's not just about writing good books. It's about like creating that persona that readers connect with.
This guide talks about consistency as a big part of branding.
Yeah, like your website, your social media, your book covers, you should all feel connected, right?
Exactly. Everything should look and feel professional, and, it should all have your unique style.
Like a signature. And what about messaging? What does that mean for an author?
It's about, what makes you unique, your genre, your audience, your voice. And all that should be clear no matter where people find you.
Right. So, like, if someone likes my historical romance novels, they should get that same vibe from my website, my social media, everything.
Yeah, consistency builds trust. And when people trust you, they become fans.
Makes sense. This guide also talks about social media. What are your thoughts on, using social media to connect with readers? It can be tough, right?
Yeah.
What are your biggest challenges with social media? Let's discuss in the comments.
It can be a lot, yeah. But if you use it right, social media lets you, talk to readers directly, share your process, build excitement for your books.
It's about being real, right?
Mm.
Readers want to see the person behind the books.
And you got to be engaged too. Respond to comments, answer questions. It shows that you, care.
Right. It's a two-way street. Okay. So we've talked about keywords, Amazon ads, Kindle Unlimited, audiobooks. We're covering a lot. Before we wrap up, I want to bring it back to that goal. Earning $1,000 a month on KDP. It's a lot, but this guide makes it seem possible.
Yeah, it's about having good books, marketing them smart, and, being consistent. It takes time, but you can do it.
And remember, even if you don't hit that exact number, just, sharing your stories and finding readers who love them, that's pretty awesome.
Absolutely. And who knows, maybe you'll blow past that $1,000 goal and make even more.
Okay, so welcome back to the deep dive. I don't know about you, but I'm feeling pretty inspired to, level up my self-publishing game after all this.
Yeah, we've covered a lot of ground, haven't we? All these strategies from this Maklala Media Publications Guide.
It's been a goldmine of information, from finding your niche all the way to branding.
Right. So let's take a minute to recap. What are the big takeaways, the things you really need to remember if you want to hit that $1,000 a month on Amazon KDP?
Okay, so first, remember that bakery analogy. It all comes down to, finding that special thing. What are you good at? What do people want but can't easily find? That's your niche, your sweet spot.
And once you've got that niche figured out, don't just stop at one book. Think multiple books, like a real estate mogul. Each book is another source of income, plus they can all help each other,
Yeah, it's like that interconnected ecosystem we talked about. And speaking of attracting readers, we can't forget about the content itself. It has to be good.
Totally. High quality content is key. Remember, think of your book like a beautifully crafted piece of furniture. Everything matters. Professional editing, good formatting, an amazing cover. It all adds up to a book that people will want to buy.
And to make sure they can actually find your book, you have to speak the language of Amazon, which is keywords.
Right. If you understand how people search, you can, make your book show up when they're looking for something like what you wrote. And there are tools to help you, like Publisher Rocket and Sonar.
Cool. So moving on, remember how we talked about email marketing? That's a great way to connect directly with your readers.
It's like having a VIP club just for your fans. You can give them exclusive content, let them know about new releases, get feedback. It's a direct line to the people who love your work.
And don't forget about those lead magnets. Offer something cool for free in exchange for their email address, and boom, you've got a new member of your club.
Now, let's talk about something that some people find a bit intimidating. Amazon ads.
Yeah, they can be a bit scary, but they don't have to be.
Exactly. Just remember to start small, try different things, and, keep track of what's working. Watch that ROI.
Good advice. Okay, now, what about Kindle Unlimited? That seems like a big opportunity.
It is. Kindle Unlimited, or KU, gives you access to a huge audience of readers who love to, read a lot, and you get paid based on how much they read.
So the more they read, the more you earn. Pretty cool system.
But there's a trade-off. Remember, if you put your book in KU, it can only be on Amazon.
So you have to think about, do you want to be exclusive to Amazon, or do you want to try selling everywhere? It depends on your goals.
Right. And then there's audiobooks. They're super popular now, and ACX makes it pretty easy to, turn your ebook into an audiobook.
Yeah, it's like bringing your story to life with a voice.
Exactly. And lastly, let's not forget about author branding. That's how you make yourself stand out, how you build that a relationship with readers.
And this guide really emphasized consistency, right? Everything should feel connected. Your website, your social media, your books, it all reflects who you are as an author.
Exactly. Think about your favorite brands. They're consistent. You know what to expect. And that builds trust, which is huge.
And that trust is what turns readers into fans, right? Okay, so we've covered so much today. It's been a deep dive for sure.
It has. We talked about finding your niche, creating awesome content, marketing it smart, and building your brand. All those steps on the road to, making money on Amazon KDP.
And even if you don't hit that exact $1,000 a month goal right away, remember that the journey itself is pretty amazing.
Absolutely. Sharing your stories, connecting with readers, that's what it's all about.
And who knows, maybe you'll even, blow past that $1,000 goal and achieve even bigger things. So keep writing, keep learning, and never give up on your dreams. Thanks for joining us on the Deep Dive.